Live from courtside at the gymnasium on the campus of Atlantic High School in Port Orange, Florida. This is the second semifinal of the FHSAA 4A District 9 girls basketball tournament. We just saw the Cocoa Tigers book their place in the district finals with a win over Astronaut. And now it is time to see who joins them in the finals as the number 2 Titusville Terriers take on the number 3 and tournament host Atlantic Sharks. Hello and a very warm welcome to the semifinals of the FHSAA 4A District 9 Girls Basketball Tournament on on MJT Sports Productions. For the first time on MJT Sports Productions, I have a guest joining me. Please welcome to the broadcast, Mel Stack Jr. Mel, we have seen the atmosphere here tonight building over the last few hours. Now it is very lively in here as we see the home team play. And how does an environment like this, especially in a tournament, affect both teams?
Michael, once again, thank you very much for having me on. I think what you're starting to see, just basically adding to what you were saying, people are starting to trickle in. You're really starting to see that home court advantage start to trickle in for Atlantic. We'll see if it pays off for them once the game gets started here.
The number 3 seed Atlantic Sharks finished the regular season at 9-5 and ended up getting a bye through the quarterfinals because unfortunately Satellite High School was unable to field enough players because of injury. So the Sharks will be well rested and ready for the tough challenge in front of them. Atlantic is led offensively by, the Sharks are led offensively by dynamic junior guard Kiana Bean, who's 11 points and 6 assists per game, both lead the team. Not far behind is one of Volusia County's top rebounders, senior Aliana Jones, who averages 10.7 rebounds per game, as well as scoring in double figures. I spoke to Atlantic head coach George Butts before the game, but we do not have time to get to that interview. We'll get into it at halftime, as there's only a minute left before we introduce the starters. So we'll quickly talk Titusville. Titusville come into the game as the number 2 seed with a record of 14-7, 3-1 in conference play, and played by far the greatest number of games of any team in this tournament. The Terriers are a very young squad with only one senior, center Storm Fizame. Leading Titusville in scoring is sophomore point guard Michaela Mosley, who's the only Terrier averaging in double figures with 12.6 points per game. Aside from that, Titusville offers a very balanced attack with 3 other players, Samaria Glenn, Asharia Ennels, and Serena Watson, averaging over 5 points per game. Let's join the Atlantic PA announcer and get into the game.
Please stand for the national anthem sung by Kayla Watson. Kenya.
go down. The action goes up here at the Shark Tank. Nice intros. They brought the lights down to introduce the Atlantic starters. Atlantic wearing the road black tonight, trimmed in teal, white trim down the sides, teal numbers trimmed in white. The Terriers in all white. They are the home team de facto as they're the higher seed. Blue numbers, gold trim, blue stripe down the side. Your starters one more time. Samaria Glenn, Asharia Ennals, Storm Fizame, Serena Watson, and Michaela Mosley for the Terriers. Aliana Jones, Ashaya Israel, Tristan O'Berry, Lindsay St. Jean, and Kiana Bean for the Sharks. We are ready to go. Second semifinal. Who will join the Cocoa Tigers in the finals on Friday night? Let's play basketball. The tip is won by the Terriers. They go left to right, quickly under the basket. A layup is good for Samaria Glenn.
2 points for the visitors. 7 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Easy pickup there as Bean walks into the front court. Back to the top for Lindsay St. Jean. St. Jean throws it behind everybody and can't save it as Aliana Jones. So a chance for a quick 4-point swing for Titusville early.
Can the Terriers take advantage?
As we see the patented full court press come out for Atlantic, the Terriers break it. They have a 2-on-1, bounce pass backdoor. Layup is short, rebound Atlantic. Asharia Ennals couldn't get the layup to fall in transition, and here's Kiki Bean. Bean thinking about a three as Yisrael. Here's St. Jean, three-pointer, swish! Lindsay St. Jean on the board, and a steal immediately, a turnover and a foul. Tristan O'Berry nabbed the inbounds pass and got fouled as she went for a put back, and that's what Atlantic loves to do. They love to pressure inbounds passes, Mel.
2 shots at the line.
Tristan O'Berry, season high 17 points against Menendez, got that 2 weeks ago up in Jacksonville. Her up first one is up and good.
1 for 1 from the line, shooting 1.
Yeah, so Atlantic likes to win a lot of high-scoring games. We didn't really get a chance in our shortened pregame as the second one goes up and good to talk strategy. Both teams like to play a very press-heavy style as the Terriers break it, but Bean steals the basketball. Bean to the paint, spinning in the lane, layup too strong, and the rebound goes to Michaela Mosley, who's the Terriers' top scorer with 12 points per game. Mosley into the front court, all the way to the lane, coast to coast. Her layup is too strong and grabbed by the Sharks. Bean tries to break contain. Bean into the front court, left side. Back to the top for Yeshaya Israel, and she gets stripped by Asharia Ennals. Ennals runs the floor, bounce pass under the basket to Serena Watson, who lays it in.
Points off of turnovers. We'll see if the Terriers can double down on that moving forward.
And we saw that in the first game, too. The high press leads to turnovers, leads to points.
Both teams are playing a very up-tempo offense. We'll see if they can maintain that moving forward down the stretch.
Kiana Bean into the front court, very intense atmosphere early at the Shark Tank. Right-hand wing, here's Yeshaya Israel. O'Berry gathers to the left-hand wing, throws it to the corner for St. Jean. St. Jean into the post for Jones, back to St. Jean. She tries a three, left-hand wing, just too strong, and a rebound. Oh, 2 Sharks run into each other, and the Terriers take the basketball. Ennals, coast to coast, and she is run down by Ashaya Israel, who steals the ball away before she could lay it up. Sharks with a 5-4 disadvantage and the basketball. Driving baseline is Yisrael, and she gets the ball tapped out of her hands, so it'll be a baseline in for the Sharks. Really high energy start to this game.
Both teams are playing very disciplined for the most part on defense. Atlantic with the inbound pass down low.
St. Jean catch and shoot, three-pointer. Lindsay St. Jean, she's 2 for 2 from 3.
Atlantic is starting to heat up, Michael.
Coast to coast layup is no good for Serena Watson, and a foul. No, it's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow to Atlantic. 8-4, the Sharks lead. I mentioned earlier that the Terriers were on top. I'm used to seeing the Sharks be the home team here. They're the road team tonight, their own building. Wearing the black uniforms and having the guest score above their name. 5:30 to go first quarter. Bean controls for the Sharks.
Technically speaking, the road team, but I mean, I can definitely sense a home court advantage here. What do you think?
Oh yeah, full as they can legally make it is the Shark Tank tonight. Lindsay St. Jean away on top, into the corner for Bean. Shovel down low to Jones. Her layup is good, and 1 for Aliana Jones. And we talked about this before we went live, Mel, how to use the interior players to your advantage.
Yes, definitely utilizing the post action, trying to find body mismatches.
Jones to the line, her and one, swish.
Good.
And it is 11-4, hot start for the Sharks.
The three-point play complete.
Yeah, the full court press continues. Bean bumps Fils-Aimé across the timeline. Fils-Aimé throws it up for grabs, grabbed by Ennals. Short shot for Fils-Aimé, in and out. So the Terriers just haven't gotten anything to fall yet.
Terriers a bit lucky so far. We'll see if they can bounce back.
Bean stands at the top of the arc.
Terriers look like they're playing a 3-2. Then they steal the ball back.
Yeah, they got the ball away, but immediately turn it back over to Jones, who dives on the floor and gets a tie-up. It will be Terrier basketball as Michaela Mosley and Aliana Jones were scrambling on the floor for that one. Man, the energy in this building, you can feel it. Long inbounds pass, Ennals. Across. Here's Mosley into the lane. She gets fouled, and she'll go to the line.
Smart play there by the Terriers, just trying to drive the lane, trying to draw contact. 2 shots.
First foul on Lindsay St. Jean, who leads all scorers with her 2 3-pointers. One for the right-hand corner, one for the left-hand corner. She's got both.
We'll see if the Terriers can, if they can claw their way back here, point by point. First free throw is good, 1 for 1 on that.
Yep, Michaela Mosley, she's the Terriers' top scorer, 12 points per game, and she makes her first bucket there on the charity stripe. 4:55 to go first quarter, 11-5, Sharks over the Terriers. And it is up, and it is a brick left hand, no good. Offensive rebound is fought for, it goes across the baseline, Sharks ball. It looked like it was bumped out by Mosley as she tried to grab her own miss. And the Sharks, see, I'm surprised that the Terriers aren't playing more press. In all the film I watched on them, they were a very high pressure team, but right now they're sitting back.
Terriers maintain
St. Jean in the corner, 3-pointer, swish! Lindsay St. Jean, 9 points on 3 of 3.
They steal the ball off the inbound.
Atlantic steals the ball off the inbounds, but give it right back to Mosley. And then St. Jean, Bean ties her up and gives the basketball. Bean in the left-hand corner. Bean walks it back to the top, 14-5. It's all Sharks in the first quarter. St. Jean thought about a right-hand corner 3, but back to the top it comes for Tristan O'Berry. St. Jean tries again. Oh, it's no good off the front of the iron. That's her first miss, but skying for the rebound is Tristan O'Berry. O'Berry kicks the Jones baseline. And a long 2 on the way is too short from Yeshaya Yisrael, goes out of bounds. Terrier basketball, wow.
Atlantic really taking advantage of the 3-2 defensive formation from the Terriers here with those outside shots, Michael.
Almost another turnover by the Terriers. They're still in their own half of the court. Ennals almost turns it over, but she gets it across the court. The ball dribbles into the right-hand corner. It's taken by Mosley. Mosley launches it back to the top, and it's over everybody's head. It's into the hands of Yeshaya Yisrael. Drives the lane, puts it up, no good, and no foul. Terriers with the rebound. Right in front of the scorer's table, here is Michaela Mosley, the 5'6" sophomore. 226 points she scored this season for the Terriers. Gets a high screen, bounce pass left, 3 on the way from Ennals, too strong. Mosley with the offensive rebound, her put back is good.
The Terriers fight back with 2 extra points here, 14-7, 3 minutes, 17 seconds to go in the first.
And you can see why Mosley's their top scorer. She attacks. Kiana Bean. Across to O'Berry, then Bean gets it back. Bean tries a 3, straight on, too strong, and the rebound goes to Samaria Glenn for the Terriers.
Atlantic pressing.
And now they'll back off as Mosley gets it clear, and they'll set up a half-court defense. Mosley across to Serena Wilson.
Terriers running the half-court offense here.
Wilson
Ball
into
screen.
the corner. Ennals, same space she tried the last one. This time misses it short, and the rebound goes to Kiana Bean. Bean across the timeline, and she will be fouled as she crosses midcourt. 2:37 to go, 7-point lead for the Sharks. 14-7, and a first foul on Storm Fils-Aimé, the only senior on this Terriers roster. What kind of leadership does she bring to this squad?
I think what she can do is she can just keep everybody's heads in the game mentally, just keep everybody calm, run the plays that you've been taught to run.
O'Berry back to the top for Beam. A pass is tipped into the hands of Mosley, a turnover for the Terriers. They've got a 2-on-1 into the lane and stripped. Serena Wilson was going up for what should have been an easy layup, but she was stripped to the basketball by Kiana Bean, who was the only shark tracking back.
Both teams digging real deep here early on. Michael, what are your thoughts on this?
It's really high tempo. Oh, wide open three in, and it's good for Samaria Glenn. Glenn up to 5 points, 10-7, or 14-10 rather, 3-point lead for the Sharks.
Terriers maintaining that 3-2 defensive formation zone.
Bean into the corner, a three on the way, and in!
Atlantic.
Swish for
Atlantic.
Tristan O'Barry. She gets in on the 3-point action. Thrown across the timeline to Serena Wilson. Wilson gets a high screen, rolls to the basket, kicks it to the corner, three on the way from Mosley, in and out. Offensive rebound grabbed by Ennels, and she is fouled.
2 shots for the Terriers. I mean, let's talk tactics here, Michael. I mean, Atlantic in particular, they're really punishing the Terriers down low with those baseline threes. What are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, we talked about it both in the pregame and before the broadcast. Inside-out motion, get the ball in the paint, it frees up. First free throw is no good from Ennels. It frees up your outside shooters, and they're taking advantage. But we've seen the Terriers come back with a very similar setup. The inside-out motion, and they've had 2 fantastic looks from 3, and they're 1 for 2 in the last couple of minutes.
The Terriers are certainly holding their own here, especially in a hostile environment, being on the road.
17-10, timeout on the floor. And it's going to be 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. As the official healthcare champion of Volusia County Schools, Advent Health is committed to providing championship caliber care. With 4 hospitals, 4 urgent care centers, and 6 sports medicine and rehab locations across Volusia County, Advent Health is here to keep your student athlete off the sidelines and get them back in the game. Visit adventhealth.com to learn more. Michael Toretto, Mel Stack Jr., courtside at the Shark Tank, 1:40 to go. 7-point lead for Atlantic, and it's been 3-point shooting that's been the difference.
All I've got to say is we've got ourselves a game here. Both teams are continuing to play a high-tempo offense. It's been a little bit scrappy, but you love to see it.
Both teams back on the floor. Second end of a 1-and-1 upcoming for Ennels. She missed the first one before the timeout. Ennels into her wind-up, and it's off the glass and in, so she's 1 of 2 that trip.
Atlantic moving the ball down the court here.
Tristan O'Barry runs the offense now. Kiana Bean at the top between the circles, back to O'Barry. O'Barry back to Bean, just looking to try and pick a hole in the defense. O'Barry with 1.5 minutes to play in the quarter. Left side, St. Jean. St. Jean back to O'Barry. O'Barry guarded closely by Serena Watson. Into the corner it goes for Bean. Gets her defender in the air, drives baseline, shovels it under the basket to Jones, and it looks like there's a foul before the shot. It's Ennels' first foul, and while maybe not as important as the first game with Astronaut, foul trouble is certainly going to be important. Into the corner, St. Jean off the inbounds pass. St. Jean shovels it back to the top, and it'll come to O'Barry. O'Barry to St. Jean. Lindsay, the senior, running the point. Here is Kiana Bean now. The Dynamite Junior leads the Sharks in pretty much every offensive category. O'Barry back to Bean, in the corner for 3, a little bit too strong. The rebound goes to Michaela Mosley. Once again, the full court press comes and they turn the ball over. Mosley dives on it, it's gonna be a jump ball, and it looks like Atlantic will have the possession, and they will. They lead at 17-11 here with 46 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Sharks with the inbound under the basket that they attack to listeners left, all the way up to the top for Israel. Israel to St. Jean, thought about a long 3, doesn't take it. And now O'Barry slows it down. 39 seconds as we hear Coach Butts in the background saying one shot, 30 seconds left to go in the first quarter. A very high scoring first quarter, and a foul up top as Kiana Bean got hit in the back as she was dribbling around. That's the second quickly on Ennels. And those are true, like, cheap fouls, too. Not even in shooting fouls. Just one under the basket and then one way up by midcourt.
It'll be interesting to see how that total number of fouls adds up over the course of the half.
Yeah, already with 5 for the Terriers. 20 seconds left to go in the quarter. Bean just hangs on to the basketball. Terriers switching to a 2-3 for a moment. Bean tried to get it into the high post and turns the ball over. And now a foul as Yeshaya Yisrael hit Mosley on the arm as she was trying to break contain. After holding the ball for the better part of a minute and then coming up empty, that's got to be a little bit demoralizing.
Yes.
7 seconds to go. Terriers into the front court. Here's Serena Watson. She gets the ball back in the paint. Baseline jumper good from Watson at the horn. And that is the end of the first quarter. 17-13. Both teams have brought the offense. We'll take 30 seconds and be right back. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of Atlantic Sharks basketball. Advent Health is here for you and with you during every tip-off, every timeout, and every season to support you physically, mentally, and spiritually in this game called life. Advent Health is on your team. They're your biggest fan, and they're here to help you feel whole. Advent Health is a proud supporter of Volusia County School Athletics. Visit adventhealth.com to learn more. Michael Toretto Malstack Jr. courtside here at Atlantic High School. And a really entertaining first quarter between the Sharks and the Terriers in the district semifinal. 17-13 Atlantic leads Titusville. It was a hot start for Atlantic, but Titusville starting to claw their way back into it. Let me know, give me your take on the Titusville team so far.
That's right, Titusville. They're staying mentally very tough. They went down early, but they've made sure to claw their way back. One thing to pay attention to, they have 5 team fouls. We'll see if they can keep that number down moving into the second quarter.
Spun across, Terriers with the basketball, 3 on the way from Mosley, back iron no good, offensive rebound, put back also no good. Jones skies for the rebound for Atlantic, and then Kiana Bean can push the pace. Bean into the front court, left-hand corner for St. Jean, and then back to Bean, right-hand wing. St. Jean in the left-hand corner, back to Bean. And now St. Jean again as they just keep playing it back and forth. Now it comes back to the top for Yeshaya Yisrael. Yisrael back to St. Jean, into the corner, a 3 goes up, and it's off the backboard and no good from Bean. Titusville the rebound, and the Sharks race to get back into the front court off a nice long feed goes Serena Watson, but her layup is no good, and it's into the hands of Aliana Jones, the senior. St. Jean, baseline is Yisrael, and now it goes into the corner for Jones. Jones, baseline drive, kick to St. Jean, and back to Bean at the Atlantic logo, and the Sharks will reset. 6:56 to go, second quarter, 17-13 Sharks over the Titusville Terriers. O'Berry to St. Jean, up at top in the circles. Now a left-hand drive by Yisrael. Yisrael throws it to the corner for Kiana Bean, and then back to St. Jean. St. Jean tries an NBA. Oh my goodness, he hit that almost from a quarter court. Lindsay St. Jean, 4 3-pointers in the first half. And now the ball goes out of play as Titusville was trying to break out along the sideline. It will be Terrier basketball as it was tipped out.
We just watched the shot of the day.
I mean, why even take that shot in the second quarter? But she hit it.
If she has the range, fire away.
Unbelievable. Lindsay St. Jean, 12 points for the senior. 2013. Sharks over the Titusville Terriers. Up on top on the Atlantic logo is Serena Watson. Watson guarded by Israel. Into the corner it goes for Mosley. That's the defender in the air. Runner in the lane, no good, but it gets her own rebound. Baseline drive. Throws it up off the backboard, no good. And the rebound is chased down by Kristen O'Berry. O'Berry tied up and has the ball stolen from her, but a double dribble is going to give the ball back to Atlantic. Atlantic a little bit lucky there.
Terriers beginning to press here.
Yeah, now here's the full court press that we expected from Titusville. Jones has the ball batted away from her, but it comes straight to Bean, who gets it across the time stripe to O'Berry, drives the lane, gets fouled, and will go to the line.
Atlantic did a great job beating that trap there. What are your thoughts, Michael?
I mean, it's a simple in soccer terms, we would call it one-touch passing. Quick in and out, get the defense moving. And that's the most important thing on a trap. You've got to get the two people that are trapping to move laterally so you can race past them. And they did a perfect job there, and O'Barry's get to the line because of it. First one up and in for O'Barry. Her second trip to the line, 2 of 2, her first time out. 21-13. Second shot up coming from the charity stripe for Tristan O'Barry, the sophomore. O'Barry, front iron, no good. The rebound goes to the Sharks, though. O'Barry gets it back, top of the key on the feed from Israel St. Jean. Another quarter court three. Oh, it's off the back iron and no good. Maybe she'll stop taking those now. The Terriers race into the front court with Mosley. She gets to the lane. She lays it up. It's no good. The offensive rebound by Watson. She kicks it out. A 15-foot jump shot is also no good from Fizame. And it's the Sharks with the rebound. Kiana Bean into the front court, to the left hand, drives the lane, kicks to the corner. Three on the way from St. Jean. Oh, too strong, but Aliana Jones grabs the board. Sharks keep possession. Back to the top for Bean. Here is Yeshai Israel out on top, and now Tristan O'Barry will slow the pace down. Lindsay St. Jean. As you just heard Coach Butt say patience to Lindsay St. Jean, as she almost thought about another quarter court range three. O'Barry now controls, approaches the top of the key. Now back to St. Jean. Back to O'Barry. Remember, no shot clock here in high school basketball. Into the corner it comes for Bean. Under the basket, posting up is Jones. Her shot is blocked.
The Terriers continuing to move with the up-tempo pace down the court here.
Yeah, but it was a good trap by the Sharks, and they got almost to turn the ball over. It was deflected by Jones. The Terriers into the offensive zone and will set up their court after half-court press, driving, and getting fouled.
Looks like foul on the floor here.
Yeah, Watson drove the lane, and they're going to get the foul on Kiana Bean, her first. It's really important to keep Kiana out of foul trouble. You've watched her for the last quarter and a half. She's so important to this team.
She's very important. She needs to make sure she stays disciplined down the stretch.
At the line, is Krishanti Slaughter, who's just checked in off the bench. And Slaughter misses the first one, back iron, on her first trip to the line. I do want to mention, while we're talking about foul trouble, there are 16 fouls on the Terriers with 4.5 minutes to play in the first half. One more, and the Sharks are shooting in the bonus. And the second one rims in for Slaughter, 1 of 2, and the Sharks control with Tristan O'Barry.
If I'm Atlantic here, I'm really trying to draw the foul, maybe driving the lane a little bit if possible.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't used Daliana Jones to greater effect. She's mostly just been used as a kick out. Top of the key, here's Yeshai Israel. And now Aliana Jones on top, into the corner for Bean. Bean, baseline drive. Pulls up from 15 feet and knocks down the baseline jumper.
That baseline area, whether it's the from three or from mid-range, that's been their hot spot today.
That's surprisingly Kiana Bean's first points of the night as she races back to knock the ball away and get the ball as she taps it off of Slaughter and out of bounds.
Titusville, they're moving the ball well. It's just that final pass that they're lacking.
And Kiana Bean just all energy, up and down the court, both sides. The Sharks, I think, as a whole, aren't doing a great job of getting back on defense. It's just Bean making the plays over and over again. Right-hand side, back to the top for Lindsay. Yeshai Israel back to Kiana Bean. Coach Butts calls a play, and Bean will stand with her heels on the mid-court line. They lead 23-14, 3:16 to play in the first half.
Atlantic really settling in here with their half-court offense.
Remember the last time they took almost a minute off the clock at the end of the first corner, but they didn't get anything as they turned the ball over with 50 seconds to go. Bean against Samaria Glenn, and now Tristan O'Barry. O'Barry back to Bean. And then back to O'Barry. Corner for Yisrael. Yisrael walks to the top. Very patient now, the Sharks. Into the post it goes. And then into the right-hand corner. A three from St. Jean. Swish! Lindsay St. Jean has her 5th three of the first half. And now the high press comes again for Atlantic. Across the time stripe, here's Titusville. Into the front court, Slaughter, layup no good. Skying for the rebound is Bean. But now she's trapped on the baseline. Turns the ball over to Slaughter. Slaughter, layup good.
Solid answer from the Terriers there.
Yeah, and good recognition. I don't think that was a planned pressure, but as the Sharks turn it over again against the full court press, Bean tries to rip it away from Slaughter, and now a turnover as Tristan O'Berry jumps the pass, and Aliana Jones is down in the backcourt, and they're gonna get Slaughter, I think, for a trip, as Aliana Jones was attempting to go set up on the front court.
Both teams are laying it out there. I think the key for the Terriers moving forward, stop St. Jean. She's clearly going off right now. What did you say, 5 threes?
5 threes in the first half. Her best in the season is 24 points. She's already halfway there. And now in the bonus, it's going to be a 1+1 for Tristan O'Berry. Up and good on the first one.
11-point lead now for the Sharks.
Yeah, and the bonus with 2 minutes to go. So a chance to extend it here again. Get balls in the paint, I think, is the one thing the Sharks are missing from their game so far. Second one of the 1-and-1 is good from O'Berry. Again, the full court press comes from the Sharks. Terriers right on their own baseline. It's thrown up towards center court. Asharia Ennals controls, now throws it into the front court from Mosley. Mosley high off the glass, no good, and she gets fouled as the Sharks fans lose their collective minds, no more so than Coach Butts, who leaped about 2 feet in the air off to our right as Aliana Jones is called for her first foul.
5th team foul here for the Sharks.
Yeah, and a lot of fouls, more fouls than we saw in the first game, because I think both teams are not being as careful maybe as Coco and Astronaut were.
Both teams are definitely, they're going in, they're taking chances, they're trying to go for more steals, they're trying to actually go in for blocks. You love to see it.
First one up and in from Mosley. This is her second trip to the line, one of 2 first time. Mosley up, no good, and she's 1 of 2 again, and Kiana Bean gets tied up on the rebound, and it's gonna be Terriers basketball. Oh no, it's gonna be Sharks basketball.
Emotion's starting to set in a little bit.
Yeah, and from the crowd as well. Here comes the press from the Terriers. Kiana Bean attacks it. St. Jean turns the ball over, but Bean recovers well. She's at her own backcourt, got to throw it up the floor, and they're gonna get
travel here from Atlantic. Costly turnover.
Backcourt violation. Spent too long in the backcourt. As you can see, Kiana Bean just tried to throw it up for grabs, but the ball didn't leave the backcourt fast enough. Terriers with the baseline inbound. Here's Ennals, goes up for a layup, gets fouled.
Draws the foul again. 6th team foul for Atlantic.
Yeah, the reaction from the floor is that Tristan O'Berry got a clean block on that, but obviously the referee saw it differently.
Atlantic's starting to work with their bench here.
Yeah, as we see the senior Alexia Brooks gonna come in the ball game. The first of 2 from Ennals is good. 28-18, 10-point lead for the Sharks. It's become a little bit scrappy, wouldn't you say?
Most definitely, but that's what you love to see out of playoff basketball.
Second one, no good. Offensive rebound is up and in from Stephanie Ouellette, who's just checked in. Her first points of the game.
Atlantic changing up the tempo, moving more to an up-tempo offense here on this possession.
Yeah, here's Jones at the top of the key. Yisrael draws a double team out high, throws it under the basket to a Jones who's wide open, whose layup is no good. Oh, she missed it back iron.
In and out. Will Titusville capitalize on this turnover?
Mosley, front court, layup no good. Scramble under the basket for it. Terriers get it. Ennals traveled before sure layup was up and in, so the Sharks survive. A little bit of a scare there.
I think if I'm Atlantic here, just stay calm and composed, just run the clock out, regroup for the second half.
And I think that's why Coach Butts is calling a timeout here. We get
Titusville
called the timeout, but I think it's honestly more important for Atlantic because this game has gotten a little bit emotional, it's gotten a little bit scrappy. They were doing well in the first quarter and the first part of the second by staying calm, running their offense, but as soon as the Terriers switched to the full court press, it's become a little bit difficult for Atlantic.
Precisely. What you're starting to see is the Terriers kind of thrive off of that chaos that's being manifested by their trap in particular.
1:11 to go in the first half of action, 28-20, a high-scoring ball game here. Sharks over the Terriers in the second semifinal here at the District 4A playoffs.
Things remain close, 8-point game, 28-20, 1 minute, 11 seconds to go.
At one point, it looked like the Sharks were going to run away with it, and the Terriers have come back, made it a game. Kiana Bean running the offense again. 1 minute to play in the quarter. Yeshai Israel kicks to O'Berry. O'Berry on a drive. He gets fouled as she was trying to drive the lane. I don't think that's going to be in the act of shooting as she was still up by the free throw line, and indeed it will not be.
Blocking foul on the floor.
That's Samaria Glenn's first foul.
Eighth team foul, so that would put Atlantic in the bonus, right?
1 and 1. It's 7 in high school, not 8. But so 1 plus 1 for Tristan O'Berry, and it's no good. And then another foul is going to be called on the rebound. It looks like they're going to get Bean for it. They are going to get Bean for it. That's her second. So Sharks starting to develop a little bit of foul trouble. 2 on Yisrael, 2 on Bean. 54 seconds to go. Oh, and now the Terriers are in the bonus, so they're going to 1 plus 1.
1 and 1 for the Terriers.
Yeah. Samaria Glenn at the line.
Can they eat away at this lead going into the end of the first half here?
So it looks like if they want it, the last possession will be Atlantic's. So we'll see what they do after these free throws. 1 plus 1. It's up. It's no. Oh, it is good. It looked like it was going to bounce out, but then it went back through the hoop for Glenn, and she'll get a second one.
Falls in after the friendly bounce there.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, right?
Most definitely.
Glenn into her wind up. It is no good. Missed everything. An air ball. And it's going to be Atlantic basketball. 54 seconds to go in the first half. 28-21 Sharks lead.
Terriers bring the press, and they break it down, moving back into the half-court defense there.
Yeah, back into the half-court defense for Titusville. Aliana Jones controls high up top. She's being pressured by Michaela Mosley. Kiana Bean, guarded by Ennels. Still up on the logo. Here's St. Jean. And now back to Aliana Jones. Jones back to Bean. Bean back to St. Jean. 27 seconds to go in the half. They're just cycling around here up by the half-court line. Bean to St. Jean, trying to find an opening. 19 seconds to go. St. Jean throws it into the high post for Bean. Bean under the basket. Jones shovels it, left-hand corner, 3 on the way. Rattles home. It's a 2. It's only a 2 for Tristan O'Berry. And in a steal off the inbounds pass, 2 seconds left, 1 travel before St. Jean could get the shot away.
What an ending to the half. 1.7 seconds remaining. Michael, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know if the Terriers want to use a timeout to advance the ball here or save them for the second half. They will not, and they will hold a wild ending to the first half. 30-21 Sharks over the Titusville Terriers. We need a chance to catch our breath, take a break. We'll be right back to recap it all for you at halftime. Once again, your score, Atlantic Sharks 30, Titusville Terriers 21. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of the FHSAA District Playoffs. Live from courtside, live from courtside, this is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of the FHSAA 4A District 9 Girls Basketball Playoffs. We are at the half in our second semifinal between the Atlantic Sharks and the Titusville Terriers. Here are your scores. It is 30-21, Sharks over the Terriers. For the Terriers, Samaria Glenn leads the way with 6, then 3 players with 4. Asharia Ennels, Serena Watson, and Michaela Mosley. Krishanti Slaughter has 3, and that is the Titusville points. And for the Atlantic Sharks, 15 points on 5 3-pointers for Lindsay St. Jean to lead the way, 10 points for Tristan O'Berry, 3 for Aliana Jones, and 2 for Kiana Bean. Mel Stack Jr. is alongside me taking in all the action. Mel, it's been the battle of the sophomores today.
It certainly has, and I think the story of the game so far, it's definitely been St. Jean just completely going off with 5 different 3-pointers in the first half. Can she maintain that level of consistency from 3 moving forward into the second half?
I mean, that's really what the second half is going to come down to, right? Can Atlantic continue to hit their outside shots? It's not just St. Jean hitting threes. It's baseline jumpers, it's 15-footers, and it's all set up by inside-out motion. And Aliana Jones and Kiana Bean, while they may not be on the score sheet that much, they touch the ball almost every possession.
And on the other hand, if you're Titusville High School, if you're the Terriers, your number one key to the second half is trying to limit her to as few points as possible, whether that means putting a double team on her, overwhelming her, frustrating her, maybe fouling her a little bit. We'll see how St. Jean responds in the second half. Can she maintain that level of consistency?
Yeah, and on the Terriers side, Michaela Mosley, their top scorer, she has been as advertised, but only 4 points because she has been bottled up by the full court press of Atlantic, as in the first game where we saw Coco turn Astronaut over double-digit times in the first half. Atlantic has really used the full court press to their advantage.
Yes, most definitely. It'll be interesting to see if they maintain that moving forward into the second half.
And I think one of the weaknesses for Atlantic is when the press is thrown right back at them. We saw Titusville throw the press midway through the second quarter about, and it worked. They clawed the way back into the game. It was a 12-point lead for Atlantic at one point. It's now 9 points. And most of that was off of that press turnover. What baffled me a little bit at the end was the Terriers backed off. They went away from it, back to the half-court set. They play a lot of 3-2, and it results in a lot of long possessions for Atlantic, and as Atlantic continues to lead the game, those long possessions will become more and more important as they try to run the clock down.
Most definitely. I think if you're Atlantic here, you really do try to control the game. It seems like they really thrive with regard to those baseline shots, whether it's from mid-range or whether it's from 3. Just really control the game, slow it down, and make sure that you don't let the Terriers kind of thrive off of that organized chaos per se.
It has been very chaotic here. We will take a 5-minute break and be right back for the start of the second half. Once again, your score at halftime, the Atlantic Sharks 30, the Titusville Terriers 21. We'll take a break and be right back. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of the District Basketball Tournament. Second half on tap from the Shark Tank FHSAA for a District 9 semifinal. Michael Cirillo alongside me is Mel Stack Jr. It's the Sharks and the Terriers, and it's been all up-tempo all the time. Very rarely have we had a chance to catch our breath in this one.
That's right. I mean, I was definitely taking those breaths now because I know we won't have them once the second half starts. Just based simply on the up-tempo offense that's been played by both teams alone.
Yeah, and the fact that both teams like to mix in a lot of full-court press on defense, a lot of turnovers, a lot of points off turnovers in this game. It'll be interesting to see the final numbers when we actually get done. We are just about set to go, second half on tap. The Sharks in their own building at home, but are the road team tonight as they are the lower seed. The Titusville Terriers in the white with blue stripes and blue Terriers across the front in blue trimmed with gold, also blue numbers trimmed with gold. Sharks in the road black trimmed in teal numbers, white trim for the Sharks as well. The Terriers will start with the basketball. They work right to left across your radio dial to start this second half. Serena Watson takes the basketball and we are underway. Atlantic settling into a half-court defense. Watson gets a high screen into the corner. Mosley, long three, over the backboard, and no good.
Out of bounds.
Not often you see a three go over the backboard like that.
Not too often.
Here comes the high press from Titusville, but the Sharks break contain into the front court for Yeshaya Israel. She drives the lane. She gets fouled. She was pushed to the back by Asharia Eddles. And that is the third on Ennals, so foul trouble for the Terriers starting to mount up. That's Ennals with 3 and Fizame with 3.
Terriers just trying to stop the momentum there on that fast break. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's a turnover underneath. The Sharks' fast break does its job, and the first of 2 free throws is no good from Yeshaya Israel.
It seems like this is the kind of game that the Terriers kind of thrive off of, though, is really just trying to get in the head of the other team, foul a little bit, and just kind of take it from there.
Both of the free throws for Yeshaya Israel are too strong. That's surprising me that with the amount of the ball that Israel's had. Wait, 3 free throws? Well, it's no good anyway, and they missed all of them. And now the Terriers a chance to cut into the 9-point lead. The ball goes underneath the basket and stripped from Storm Fizame, but she gets it back. Mosley in the corner, a 3, it's good.
We have ourselves a 6-point game now, 7 minutes, 22 seconds.
Yep, Atlantic against the full court press into the front court. Jones has the ball batted away from her by Mosley. Mosley races to the front court. Jones tracking back, taps the ball out of bounds. It'll be Terriers basketball.
Titusville continuing with the up-tempo. It seems like that is their go-to offense.
They're trying to just discombobulate the Sharks on the defensive end of the floor, and it's working well to start the second half.
It's certainly keeping them on their heels. How will Atlantic respond? We'll see right now.
Here is Annals, right-hand side, back to the top, Mosley. Mosley throws it to the left-hand corner. The ball goes under the basket. A layup is up and good from Serena Wilson. So a quick 5-point swing to Watson. A quick 5-point swing to start the second half. Bean shovels it into the front court. Driving lane is Jones. Her layup is good. That was very pretty by Aliana Jones.
Clinical finish, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, coming from someone with a soccer background. Sharks track back. Ennals steps into a 3, misses it wide right, and Kiana Bean takes the rebound. Sharks now trying to push the tempo. Bean across the time stripe. 7:26 to play in the third quarter. Sharks up 32-26.
Atlantic setting up their play now.
I'm not sure what happened.
That looks like a 5-second call?
I guess 5 seconds without moving. And it'll be Terriers with the basketball. I'm not sure what the call was there. Kiana Bean was just sort of standing on her own. And now the Terriers have the ball, down 32-26. The ball is thrown into the left-hand corner, stolen by Jones. Jones battling for it. She goes to the ground with Mosley. And it is going to be Atlantic basketball as it was last touched by Serena Watson.
32-26 Atlantic here. 6 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the third.
Yeah, I really liked the way that the Terriers have come out and started this half. Really high tempo, and they've cut into this lead.
At halftime, it's all about those small adjustments that the coach makes at the halftime.
Kiana Bean way high up on top. Now she drives, splits a double team, gets in the lane. Layup is off the rim, no good. And the Terriers grab the rebound. Lindsay St. Jean pressures the ball, but Mosley gets it into the front court, throws into the right-hand corner for Ennels. Ennels takes contact, drives, kicks it underneath the basket. The ball is poked away by Tristan O'Berry. O'Berry tries to break the zone. She does get into the front court across the logo. 5:37 to go in the third quarter, excuse me. What quarter are we in? I don't know.
Third period, Atlantic settling into their half-court offense. Let's see what they can make of this.
Here is on top. Yisrael drives the lane, left-hand layup off the front of the rim, no good. And again, the Terriers pressure and push the pace, and coast to coast goes Mosley, and she lays it in.
28-32, the lead continues to narrow.
And it seems that nobody's tracking Mosley back when she rushes in transition.
If I'm Atlantic, I'm keeping one person back here.
Bean to Jones. Into the lane, Jones too strong. Atlantic's gone cold, but the outbounds pass is grabbed by St. Jean. St. Jean back under the basket for Jones. Jones into the corner. Here's Tristan O'Berry for three! The threes continue to rain here at the Shark Tank. Tristan O'Berry gets into the act. It's 35-28. And Lindsay St. Jean again steals the long inbounds pass. Into the corner, a double team is split. Kiana Bean tries a straight on three. It's in and out, but the offensive rebound goes to Tristan O'Berry. She loses the basketball. It's a battle on the ground. Jump ball. Who's got the possession arrow? It is Atlantic basketball.
Atlantic really living and dying by the three here, Michael.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if timeout is being called by the Terriers, it's a full, so we're going to have to take a break. But I want to quickly mention, the offense for Atlantic dried up a little bit at the start of the quarter. I think we see them getting out of the rut a little bit with a three. But if they go cold like that, the Terriers have a great chance to take advantage. We have to step away for 30 seconds. It is 35-28, Sharks over the Titusville Terriers. This is MJT Sports Productions' broadcast of 4A District 9 playoff basketball. Strong words from Coach Butts to his Atlantic team in the timeout. Doesn't want them to turn the ball over anymore and be a little bit more patient in the offensive zone. It'll be Sharks to inbound up 35-28, 4:31 to go in the third. They attack the basket to listeners right. Tristan O'Berry controls for the Sharks, and she's up on top between the circles. Now she backs off, guarded by Mosley. Gets it back from Yisrael. And now Kiana Bean walks back to the top and takes the basketball. Kiana Bean against Mosley. Now gets it back from Yisrael. Again, the Sharks very patient against this 3-2 Terriers defense. It's just back and forth between Yisrael and Bean, letting the clock run down. 4 minutes to go in the third. 35-28 Sharks. Lindsay St. Jean under the basket. Posting up is Jones, and Aliana Jones sinks the bucket. Again, the full court press comes from the Sharks. Terriers push the ball across midcourt to Ennels. Underneath the basket, it goes to Mosley. She out-duels Jones, but gets her own rebound. Her putback is no good, and a third rebound is grabbed by the Terriers. It's up and no good, and Aliana Jones finally grabs the rebound for the Sharks.
Atlantic with a critical rebound there.
Tristan O'Berry, a three shots on that position for Titusville and no points. Down by 9, 37-28 here to the Sharks.
Titusville with the 3-2 man formation here.
And at the next stoppage, I want to ask you about the 3-2, but Lindsay St. Jean has the ball. It goes into the high post for Jones. Jones under the basket, tries to split a double team, and she gets fouled. She crashes to the ground, and she will shoot two. And Serena Watson, that's her first foul, as Aliana Jones appears to be in a little bit of discomfort as she has to be helped to her feet there by Lindsay St. Jean.
What I've seen these past few possessions here, Atlantic has really been feeding her the ball on these past two possessions, driving the lane and trying to draw contact. Yeah, and it's something that went a little bit underutilized in the first half, the usage of the high post for Aliana Jones. She's really winning that one-on-one battle with Samaria Glenn down low.
And now she's at the line to shoot 2, still in a little bit of discomfort flexing out her back. Her first penalty shot is good.
Nothing but net there, 1 for 1 from the charity stripe.
Yeah, and that is showed again because she leads all scorers in this second half with 5. Her second one hangs on the rim and in. 2 of 2 from the line for Jones. Again, the full court press comes, easily broken by Ennels. Ennels almost stripping behind. And now Mosley, corner 3, in and good. Mosley, 8 points in the third quarter as the lead continues to dwindle for Atlantic. Kiana Bean, bounce pass, high post. Right-hand corner, St. Jean, the ball goes off her hands, but she can gather it. She drives the lane, and she is fouled. I don't think that's in the act of shooting, but importantly, it's going to go on Mosley.
Blocking foul, number 23 on Titusville.
Yeah, Mosley, the best player for the Terriers, can't afford to get her in foul trouble. Luckily, there's only her first foul. Baseline in, underneath the basket, the Jones poked away, and it will be Atlantic to inbound once again. They'll just do it again.
Titusville continuing with the pressure here. Can they make the moment count?
What do you look for on these inbound sets? Like, what is the gunner looking for here?
If you're Atlantic here, you're just trying to get into space. Maybe.
Oh, well, Jones got the ball into the basket and then got crushed from behind.
If I'm Atlantic, I'm running a set play here.
But it's just another inbounds pass, no foul. Into the corner for O'Berry. O'Berry drives the lane, pulls up from 10 feet, off the glass too strong. Rebound to Serena Wilson, and she throws it ahead to Ennels. Ennels has a one-on-one, and she throws it into the hands of Lindsay St. Jean, who did excellently to jump the passing lane.
Atlantic carrying the ball down the court.
39-31, here's Kiana Bean. Kicks it, Jones drives, foul. Oh, it almost went in on the end one, but it just falls out, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2.
You got to give her credit there, taking an elbow to the face.
That is the first one on Stephanie Ouellette, who's just checked into the game. And this is the second trip to the line in about a minute and a half for Aliana Jones, certainly using her physicality to great effect here in the third quarter. First one up and in. I wanted to ask you a little bit earlier about the 3-2 defense and why the Terriers continue to stick with that in the half court when all the Sharks seem to be doing is just passing back and forth and wasting time.
In the first half, it seemed like Atlantic really exposed that 3-2 zone, but it seems as if in this second half, slight adjustments have set in, and it seems like Titusville has done a much better job.
Second one, no good. Titusville with the rebound, and a traveling violation is called against Serena Watson as she crossed the time stripe. So the Sharks will get a chance to add to a 9-point lead, 40-31, 2:12 to go third quarter. A back-and-forth, high-intensity game. Remember, we've got one more for you this week on Friday. The winner of this game taking on the Cocoa Tigers at 7 p.m. You can listen to that game at the exact same place you're listening to this one at MJT Sports Productions on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Sharks back of the half-court set. Tristan O'Berry and Kiana Bean on the Atlantic logo at center court. Bean against Serena Watson. And back to Bean. Bean against Watson. Left-hand drive still way out high. Now she throws into the high post, and it's shoveled around. Back inside, Jones. She throws up a layup and gets fouled.
Going to the line again, Atlantic going to the same go-to. It seems to be working.
They've come into the second half of the game plan, and that is get the ball to Jones and have her drive to the basket.
Most definitely.
And she's just shooting. Like, wherever she gets the ball. That one, she was about 10 feet up on the outside on the baseline, and she felt the contact coming and just hooked up a shot, and she gets the first free throw to roll in off the front iron.
Certainly padding the stat sheet here with the free throws.
And usually your center, or I guess Aliana Jones is playing power forward, but she's de facto the center. Not that great at shooting free throws, but she is doing really well. I'll get you the number in a second. As into the front court comes Mosley. Mosley drives the lane, gets fouled, and she'll go to the line.
2 shots for the Terriers here, Michael. To add to what you were saying about Friday's game, I find it interesting. So Coco's team is still here. They're watching the game. They're trying to learn some lessons about what they can learn from these two teams.
So Mosley at the line. And it's going to be Yisrael called for her first and her third, as the first shot is no good from Mosley. Mosley, the top scorer in the second half. It's up. It's no good. Mosley misses them both. And the rebound is fought for, jump ball. It looks like Terriers should have possession, and they do. Nice box out by Stephanie Ouellette, who becomes the gunner. Into the left-hand corner, Samaria Glenn. She's been very quiet in the second half. Glenn dumps it off to Slaughter underneath the basket. A layup is no good, but a foul.
What I find interesting here, in the first half, the refs weren't calling as many fouls, but you're starting to see the fouls trickle in. We'll see how the number of team fouls plays out moving into the fourth.
Yeah, and I want to see, as both teams have really not utilized their bench too much, we've seen a couple of here and there, but I want to see if the foul situation is, as the first of two, is on the way and no good from Glenn. I want to see how the benches play in the late in the third and into the fourth quarter if fouls start becoming an issue for the starters.
It'll be really interesting to see what kind of lineup the Terriers turn to if necessary, if they do need to start subbing in people.
Missed them both again, so 0 for 4 from the line on this possession, and a third foul as Tristan O'Berry draws her second.
Third team foul for the Sharks.
Yeah, and all three of them on this possession. 3 straight trips to the line for 3 different Terriers. This time it's Slaughter. Slaughter banks in the first. Trying to keep Tristan O'Berry out as she just picked up her second foul. Second free throw on the way, no good. Rebound to Aliana Jones. And Kiana Bean runs the floor. Terriers back off into a half-court set. 1:23 to go in the third quarter. 10-point lead, 42-32 for Atlantic. Kiana Bean controls out high.
Moving the ball up top near half court.
And they've done this a lot to slow the game down. Ball lobbed into the paint for Jones. She backs out up high, throws into the left-hand corner. 3 on the way from O'Berry. It's too short. Aliana Jones fights for the rebound. A foul's going to be called on Jones as she went over the back. And now Aliana Jones, who's been the key player for the Sharks in this half, has 3 fouls.
Atlantic starting to work with their bench now. You start to see number 21, Alexia Brooks. She subs in for...
Yeah, she's going to take out Jones. They really are going to need her down the stretch in the fourth quarter. I think this is a good move. Get some fresh legs in there. Alexia Brooks has only been in for about 2 minutes of the ball game. Titusville inbounds a minute to go, third quarter down by 10. And a pass was into the hands of Samaria Glenn, and she just butterfingers it out of bounds. So the Sharks will have an extra possession, 55 seconds to go. And if they play patiently like they have been known to do, they could get the last shot here in the quarter. Kiana Bean. Right hand drive in front of her own bench, kicks it back between the circles to Yeshaya Israel.
Atlantic really looking to break down the Terriers here on defense, taking their time, being very methodical with their passes.
And they've been like this a lot, just cycling passes up way high above the key. Lindsay St. Jean has it now, and they're going to call her for 5 seconds. Oh no, they're going to call an off-the-ball foul on Watson for a hold. I thought, man, there's no way she's been stationary for 5 seconds.
Foul on the floor there, 5 team fouls.
Yeah, and now, but you saw the Atlantic bench and floor go, oh, come on, not again with that 5-second call, right? Like, it's in their heads now. 25 seconds to go in the quarter. Nice fancy feet by Tristan O'Berry. She finds Israel. Israel takes it to the hoop. Nobody's there to guard it, and she gets whacked from behind by Krishanti Slaughter.
Draws the foul. That makes it 6 team fouls against the Terriers. This may come back to bite them moving into the fourth.
Yeah, one more foul, and Atlantic's going to be in the bonus for the entirety of the fourth quarter. And if they keep knocking down the shots like they have done, that could be the difference. First one, swish for Yeshaya Israel's. Funnily enough, her first points of the game, even with all the action she's been seeing.
Titusville certainly has been punished from the line here.
Yeah, and they're going to be cycling a couple of people out. Stephanie Ouellette comes in, as well as Asharia Enos. Second free throw is good. Another 2 from 2 trip to the line for the Sharks. Now the full court press comes again for Atlantic, and the ball is thrown to Mosley right in front of the scorer's table. Mosley crosses the time stripe, 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Enos fires a 3, too short. Rebound by Ouellette, and it's tipped right to the Sharks. 3 seconds, 2, 1. It's into the front court, and The layup goes, but the basket will be called off because they did not get the shot away. We go to the fourth quarter. Atlantic 44. Terriers of Titusville 32. We'll take 30 seconds and be right back. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of 4A District 9 playoff basketball. Sharks fans, baseball and softball season is coming soon, and you can catch the action from the Diamond on MJT Sports Productions, the official play-by-play home of the Atlantic Sharks. Be sure to like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter, all at MJT Sports Productions, so you never miss a moment of the action. Let's go, Sharks! Fourth quarter on tap. Michael Toretto, Mel Stack Jr. here courtside from the Shark Tank. Mel, we have been thoroughly entertained by this game as the Sharks nurse a 12-point lead into the final quarter.
Certainly, from start to finish, both teams have played high up-tempo offenses. They've both really dug deep on defense. It'll be really interesting to see how the team foul situation comes to play here in the fourth quarter.
The Sharks will start with the basketball. They attack the basket to listeners left. The ball comes into Tristan O'Berry, her heels on the center court logo. And now Bean comes back and gets it from her. Up on top with Jones. The Sharks just cycling, passes around up near the midcourt logo, as they've been wont to do for a large portion of this game. Here's Yeshaya Israel, guarded closely by Krishanti Slaughter. A wayward pass, and a bunch of players, well, only two players, Aliana Jones and Serena Wilson dive on the floor. Last touched by Wilson. Sharks to inbound right across from us. Here's sideline in.
Sharks continuing to utilize the off-ball screen towards the top of the key here. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I mean, it's just been a sort of continual screen after screen after screen on a couple of possessions here in this game. Lindsay St. Jean turns Mosley. Oh, and she coughs up the basketball as she was driving to the lane. Here's Krishanti Slaughter racing coast to coast. Tries to push a layup, and it's a tie-up. What a track back by Aliana Jones to force the jump ball and not foul.
You'll have to see a great transition defense there from Atlantic. Good hustle play.
7:16 to play in the ball game. It is Titusville basketball. 3-point off the inbounds pass is too strong from Slaughter. Kiana Bean takes the basketball, and the Terriers back off into the half-court defense. Bean gets across the time stripe. 7 minutes to go in the game, and she will be fouled out high.
And this is a critical team foul because that makes that the 7th team foul against Titusville.
Into the bonus goes the Atlantic Sharks. That's the 7th foul on the Terriers, and also the 3rd foul on Serena Watson. And now Kiana Bean, who only 2 points in the ball game, hasn't gotten to the line, has acted more as a facilitator tonight, will try and increase this lead. The bonus is going to be super important with 7 minutes to go and a 12-point lead for Atlantic, right?
Especially moving down the stretch. I mean, if Atlantic can continue to knock the shots down from the charity stripe, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for Titusville to make a comeback.
We're a long way from done, 7:04 to go. Kiana Bean's first of a 1-and-1 is right through there, and it's 45-32. And I'm sure Coach Butts and everybody in the most people in the building, I mean, I got to applaud the people that have traveled from Brevard County to be here to support the Terriers tonight. But we'll be very happy to see this one just calmly coast to a Sharks win. Bean second of a 1-and-1 in and out. And the Atlantic takes the rebound. Kiana Bean to the left-hand wing.
Critical offensive rebound here.
Israel. Yeah, critical offensive rebound. Chance for a 3-point or 4-point swing for the Sharks. Bean, high ball screen, here's Jones. And back to Lindsay St. Jean. St. Jean quiet in the second half after knocking down 5 3-pointers in the first. She works on Mosley. Now she drives to the right-hand corner, kicks it, controlled there by O'Berry, splits a double team, runner in the lane, no good. Offensive rebound is fought for and tapped out of bounds. Titusville basketball, last touch by Tristan O'Berry. Nice handles by Tristan there to split that double team in the corner, even though she couldn't get the shot to fall.
Both teams certainly putting in a lot of effort. Can Titusville close the gap here?
Titusville against the Atlantic full court press. A three-man trap. It's going to be broken by Titusville. Thrown across the timeline into the front court. Nice one-touch passing under the basket for Ennels, and she lays it in. Ennels' first points in the second half. Oh, a nice long pass finds St. Jean. She gets to the lane. Her layup is too strong and out. Wide open layup missed. And now into the front court comes Samaria Glenn. Glenn pulls up from just inside the three-point arc. It's no good. And Jones skies for the rebound for Atlantic.
11-point game, just under 6 to play.
Kiana Bean into the front court for Yeshaya Israel, and now Aliana Jones. Her heels on the Atlantic logo. Tries to spin away from her opposite number, Samaria Glenn. More high ball screen action coming as the Sharks just cycle it around. Left, right, up on top. Bean now to St. Jean. Back to Jones. Jones now trying to work away from a double team out high. Finds St. Jean, 5:22 to play in the game. St. Jean now drives the lane, gets to the baseline, left-hand layup, no good. And the rebound, nice box out by Krishanti Slaughter. The Sharks aren't tracking back. Aliana Jones is hurt, and Krishanti Slaughter fires a three, missed it badly wide left. And the ball is thrown to the basket. Jones stayed there. Jones stayed there because she was hurt, and she screams to the sideline to take her out, and she lays it in through the pain. Timeout Atlantic. Aliana Jones, looks like she almost pulled a hamstring, or hope it's not that bad, but tweaked something. Didn't track back with the rest of the team, so after the miss, Tristan O'Berry just threw it to her full court. She was under the basket alone.
It's one of those classic right place at the right time situations, and it paid off for them in that case.
I mean, you never want to wish ill on anybody, but yeah, said right place at the right time. And it will be tough to lose Jones, who's been dynamite in this second half.
Most certainly. It'll be interesting to see if Atlantic can work with the players that they have on their bench, maybe give her a little bit of a breather and see how she feels here in a few minutes.
Yeah, 11 points for Aliana Jones in the second half, plus 5 of 6 from the free throw line. 5 minutes exactly to go in the ball game. Remember, in the first game of the day, the Cocoa Tigers booked their place in the finals by beating the Astronaut War Eagles 66-27. They have now left the building and gone home to Brevard County. They've seen enough.
They've seen enough, but certainly this game is not over just yet.
I mean, if you're in the stands watching two teams play, then you're going to play the winner. What are you looking for? What are you scouting for?
What you're trying to do in that particular case is you're looking for weaknesses. Where are the teams in front of you playing? Where are they going wrong? Is it the lack of rebounding? Is it the lack of disciplined defense? Is it the lack of play? It really comes down to certain factors along those lines.
Well, Coco is out of the building. Full court press coming for Atlantic as the Terriers control. Inbounding under the basket, listeners right. Double team trap immediately, but it gets free to Storm Fils-Aimé. Fils-Aimé across the timeline, into the front court. Ennels, bounce pass under the basket, goes out of bounds. And it was off the foot of Kiana Bean, so it'll be Terriers basketball. Inbounding baseline under the basket that they attack, listeners right. It comes in short. Quick pull-up, no good from Samaria Glenn. Rebound to Lindsay St. Jean, and now Kiana Bean can push the tempo. Bean, pass Glenn into the front court. Bounce pass Yeshaya Israel up top, and then gets it back to Kiana Bean. And I'm sure we'll see the high ball screen sequence we have seen. Alexia Brooks gets the basketball. She just checked in for the injured, Aliana Jones. Once again, the high ball screen just cycle continues, Mel.
It's really continuing. I mean, Atlantic just taking their time, but the Terriers force a turnover here.
Now Atlantic turns the ball over. Ennels is all alone, running free, lays it in.
Terriers making the most of those transition points right there.
And I think that Atlantic may be beginning to stagnate a little bit. They're focusing on just running the clock down up by 9 instead of trying to score more points. As into the lane, up and in for Tristan O'Berry. Just as I say that, Tristan says, no, we're scoring. What are you talking about?
Atlantic, it seems like they're starting to stay composed here despite the up-tempo offense from the Terriers.
Mosley gets a high ball screen, drives the lane, off the glass and in. Nice move from Mosley. She's got 10 second half points to lead the Terriers. Across the timeline is Jashia Yisrael. Yisrael, Euro step in the lane, she gets fouled.
Foul on the floor. That brings it to 18 fouls against Titusville.
And Fils-Aimé's fourth. That's really important. The only senior on the Titusville roster, as we see Aliana Jones get set to check back into the game. That is a huge relief for Atlantic. And she seems to be moving okay. So now Yisrael at the line to shoot.
If you're Atlantic here, you just want to make your free throws, just remain relaxed, have an awareness of the score, and just be smart moving down the stretch towards the end of the game here.
It's a 1-and-1, and she missed it. And Titusville takes the rebound, but it's automatically turned back over. Yisrael follows her own miss and takes the ball away, and Kiana Bean will reset at the top. Samaria Glenn rushes out to meet her. And now the ball screen cycle continues.
Closing in on 3 minutes to go here.
3 minutes exactly to go. 49-38. Sharks are going to close out the Terriers. An upset at home in the playoffs and move on to the finals. Again, it's high ball screen after high ball screen. It cycles around. Aliana Jones controls it now. Who's going to come get it next? It's Kiana Bean gets it next. Bean. And that one almost taken away from Israel, but she's able to recover. And now St. Jean way up high, has her heels on the half-court line.
Titusville
Jones
deciding not to foul here.
Basket, and she throws it over the head of Aliana Jones, and the ball is turned over to the Terriers. Into the front court and a push by Bean. That's a cheap foul. You do not want to give those away.
Tactical foul, though, honestly, it seems like from Atlantic. They still have a few more fouls to give. That's the 5th team foul for Atlantic. They've got 2 more to give. Maybe just trying to break the momentum. Maybe I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt here.
I think you might be. I think it was going towards the corner, not really driving. I'm not sure that was a tactical foul, but we'll give them a benefit of the doubt. High post. Up and no good from Glenn, and then the ball goes out of bounds off of Kiana Bean, so it will be Terriers basketball. Inbounding under the basket that they attack to listeners left, down by 11. 2 minutes, 13 seconds to go in the ball game. Samaria Glenn drives the lane off the inbounds pass, gets fouled, she'll go to the line.
2 shots at the line, 2 minutes, 10 seconds to go.
And that is why that tactical foul from Kiana Bean a second ago is not smart, because now they're 1 away from the bonus.
That's right. That's right. And can the Terriers make the most of their opportunity from the line here? We'll see.
2 from the line for Samaria Glenn. 0 for 2 from the line in the second half. And now she's 0 for 3 as that one's back iron, no good.
We're approaching the final 2 minutes here. What are your thoughts on the game so far?
I mean, it's been an exciting one, right? I mean, up and down action, both sides of the court. Both teams playing very high-tempo basketball. A lot of great shots. We've seen some lights-out shooting from Atlantic. We've seen Titusville really try and get in the paint and punish the Sharks down low. And right now, it's the hot shooting that's getting the better of it. I mean, they really shut down Lindsay St. Jean. She has no points in the second half, but 15 in the first. That's the difference right now.
That certainly has been the difference. It may be too little too late, though. I mean, St. Jean, she had a great first half with those 5 3-pointers. It seems like the Atlantic defense, for the most part, has held up in the second half.
But still, a few silly turnovers for Atlantic, a few cheap fouls where there shouldn't be. There are things to clean up if they want a shot at Coco, and I'm not saying this game is over by any means, but should they hang on to win, they play Coco on Friday, and that is a very different animal to Titusville.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see how the teams look at the film here moving forward.
2 minutes, 10 seconds to go. 49-38, Atlantic leads Titusville. Second of a 2-shot penalty is coming for Samaria Glenn. She missed the first one. And now she's 0 for 3 in the second half from the line. Glenn, 2 dribbles with the basketball, 3 dribbles with the basketball. Now into a wind-up and missed everything, airballed it. And now it's Atlantic basketball inbound. Man.
Atlantic calling an inbounds play here.
That's a tough one.
Terriers with the pressure.
Yeah, they gotta try and force some turnovers here. Down 11. The trap for Jones. She throws it to St. Jean. Back to Bean, and Bean turns the ball over. Mid-range jump shot after the turnover is Glenn in from Glenn.
We have less than 2 minutes remaining. Will the Terriers foul?
Will they foul? I don't think so. Nice split of a double team by Jones. Bounce pass, backdoor cut, and a foul. As going up for the layup was Yeshaya Israel. And that's the third on Stephanie Ouellette.
Atlantic looking to make this a double-digit game here.
Yeah, up by 9. And again, when we mentioned in the timeout, cheap giveaways kind of hurt the Sharks there. I think they're up by a little bit too much. But, as the first one from Israel's no good.
For the most part, though, I would say Atlantic has made the most of their attempts from the free throw line.
Yeah, and I'll do the math after the game issue as Israel hits the second one of 2. 10-point game. Terriers got to push the pressure now, and a travel from Ennels as she walks across the timeline. Took one too many steps at Atlanta. Well, Atlantic will have a chance to walk more time off the clock, but after this timeout, 1:49 to go. Atlantic calls a timeout, up by 10. We'll take a break and be right back. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of 4A District 9 basketball.
All right.
The music bumping here at the Shark Tank. Sharks try to close out the Titusville Terriers and move into the finals of the 4A District 9 girls basketball tournament that will be here on Friday. You can catch the action on MJT Sports Productions. Atlantic with the basketball, side out, midway court. Tristan O'Barry sees the paint open, drives to the paint, tries to kicks it out, and the ball is tipped out of bounds. It was intended for Jones.
Atlantic retaining possession here. What do you do if you're Atlantic, Michael?
I mean, I would go back to that high ball screen sequence and run out more clock. They're inbounding in front of their own bench to listeners right. Kiana being the gunner, trying to find somebody open. She throws it to O'Barry. O'Barry almost travels, but she stops short. Here is Israel, who walks it back to the top. Israel pressured hard by Serena Wilson, and she turns the ball over. Wilson runs the floor. Layup no good, too short. Jones and Wilson tie up as Wilson crashes to the ground. I think the Terriers have the possession arrow, we'll see.
Possession arrow to the Terriers here, I believe.
No, it's going to be Atlantic possession arrow.
Atlantic running a set play here on the inbound.
Yeah, trying to get away from the full court press. The Terriers show pressure, then back off, and the ball is successfully inbounded to Yeshaya Israel. Israel drives the lane, nobody's home, and Israel scores!
Increasing the lead to 12 here, a minute to play.
Yeah, great recognition by Yeshaya that nobody was in the paint. Glenn into the front court, tries to shovel it underneath the basket to Ouellette. Ouellette eventually taps it back to the right-hand corner for Serena Watson. Watson fires a three, good, and that one was from a ways away.
The clock continues to run, 48 seconds and counting.
Yep, 52-43. Kiana Bean against the double team, into the front court.
Closing in on 36 seconds here.
And the Terriers aren't fouling. As Ray Ortega is furious off to our left, trying to get them to foul, and eventually they push Lindsay St. Jean into the boards, under the basket, as she was trying to just run away and waste more clock.
Tensions beginning to rise a little bit here, Michael.
Yeah, I think the referees are debating why that might be a flagrant. As Lindsay St. Jean was just running towards the baseline, not even attempting a shot, just trying to waste more clock, and she was shoved from behind into the wall behind the baseline. And they're just going to make it a normal foul on Mosley. Honestly, I think that's the right call in this situation.
Probably the correct call there. Nothing too malicious. Just trying to foul in that case.
The speed of the game is so great these days, even at the high school level, that every time two people come into contact, there's gonna be damage done. St. Jean misses the first free throw. That is her first attempt of a free throw or score in the second half. St. Jean buries the second one. 10-point lead, 53-43, 27 seconds to go. Thrown into the front court, over everybody's head. Edel's racing for it. She will not get there. Oh no, she will get there and tap it out of bounds off of Yeshaya Israel. I thought Israel had gotten there and taken possession of the basketball, but it will be Terriers basketball.
The Terriers looking for a quick three here, if possible.
Edel's shovels it. Ouellette banks it off the glass, no good, and a foul is going to be called on Kiana Bean, and she admits it. Yep, that was my fault. As Ouellette goes to, Edel's is going to go to the line.
13.6 seconds to go.
Yeah, I think that's Kiana Bean's fifth foul. I think she's fouled out, and she went immediately to the bench. She knows.
Overall, I mean, Michael, we couldn't have asked for a much better game here.
Yeah, really up-tempo. Both teams really fly into the basketball in every possession.
Both teams certainly left it out there. Hats off to Titusville.
Yeah, Alexia Brooks checks in for the fouled out Kiana Bean. First of the penalty is no good for Ennels. And 13.6 seconds left to go in the ball game. Sharks by 10. And the second one is off the back of the iron and in, so Sharks by 9. And they're trying to intentionally foul. Lindsay St. Jean gets tapped. And Ennels now pulls up. She looks to be favoring her left foot or knee area, and she's going to have to be helped to the sideline by two other Terriers. Man, too many injuries in this game. We've had one each side, and that's two more than you ever want to see.
It's especially a shame, especially this close to the end of the game here, Michael.
Yeah, I remember back in the girls' game earlier this season against Sanford Seminole, Morgan Dillard, who is on scholarship to play basketball at Southern Mississippi University, just came here and was outstanding, scored 16 points in the second half. Seminole came up short that day, but it was a fantastic performance. She pulled up just exactly like that with about 2 minutes to go in the ball game, as the first and second penalty for St. Jean are both good. 7 seconds to go. Thrown into the front court. Three on the way from Mosley. Off the side of the rim, no good. And a jump ball, and that's it.
And that is
the
the ball
Atlantic
game.
Sharks have done it. The Sharks are moving on as the Sharks rush to surround Coach Butts, as he will get an extra game in charge of the Atlantic Sharks on Friday against Cocoa. Mel, a fantastic game all around.
Certainly a fantastic match. I mean, you couldn't have really asked for a whole lot more from the Atlantic Sharks team here. Really good from three. They made the most from their free throw attempts. Played pretty solid D and kept the team fouls down.
I mean, I didn't do this in the first game because we had to rush and set up for the second game. We've got some time now. Who is your player of the game here in this second game between Atlantic and Titusville?
I think it's a clear-cut answer. I think it's 100% Lindsay St. Jean. The second half performance did not matter as much, but that first half performance, five three-pointers, 5 from behind the arc, I think that really made the difference here.
Yeah, and it was instrumental in the Sharks building the lead, which eventually they were just able to ride out and coast to a win. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's your final scores and stats, and we'll break it down all here from Atlantic High School. This is MJT Sports Productions broadcast of the 4A District 9 basketball playoffs. We are back live from courtside here at the Shark Tank. It's time to wrap it up between the Atlantic Sharks and the Titusville Terriers. The Sharks get the win 55-44. They move on to the finals tomorrow to play the Cocoa Tigers. Final scores, first for the Titusville Terriers. Leading the way was Mosley with 8, Mosley with 14, Glenn with 8, Ennels with 9, Watson with 9, and Slaughter with 4. And for the Atlantic Sharks, leading the way was Mel's player of the game, Lindsay St. Jean with 18. Christian O'Berry had 17. Aliana Jones had 14. Yeshaya Israel had 3. And Kiana Bean had 3. Mel, a very entertaining game of basketball we saw in the second there. Just wrap it up for us as we get set to leave here and then come back on Friday.
Most definitely. You can definitely tell that Atlantic, they've been very well coached throughout the year. They really did a good job of utilizing that off-ball screen towards the top of the key. It constantly led the Terriers defense to constantly be on their heels and constantly guessing themselves.
That is it. Once again, your final score, Atlantic 55, Titusville 44. For Mel Stack and myself, Michael Travetto, we thank you for joining us for both games of our doubleheader this evening, and we will see you on Friday for the district finals. Have a very pleasant good evening.